One day I was watching a Soundsmith Stereotypes video, and while watching it I had this genius idea. What if I do a stereotype for Undertale 3D boss battles? For those of you who don't know, a stereotype is what people commonly think of when they see something. It can be anything from avatars to games to weapons. We're doing weapons. I know that some people are going to be mad, so I'm leaving the disclaimer. My stereotypes are not the Holy Bible, they are the messages of the combined opinions of the community. Just because you have snowman morph doesn't mean you suck. Now let's get onto it. Please don't sue me, Soundsmith. As a starter weapon, this has many stereotypes to it. Looking at the stick by itself, it is hard to pinpoint a single stereotype. The stereotype really depends mostly on their level. If they have a low level, then they're a new player. They just found the game and want to explore and find sans. If they're max level, they are either making a stick is overpowered joke or before October 14th doing the stick challenge. A complete opposite of the God stick, which we will get into later. This is what I believe is a great symbolism for Twitter use. Wait. I'm sorry, I meant that I believe this is a symbolism of great dedication and goodness from the social media site known as Twitter. Anyways, this weapon is one of the first weapons new players will encounter. They won't be level 0, but they will be extremely far from max. However, as it takes a couple of Undyne fights to get the frying pan, you won't see this a lot. This is the beginning of people asking to get carried. Who literally even uses this? It's so bad. 1 damage per shot. The toy knife does more damage than it. Sure, it would be useful if it were in the range slot, as in your stage you should not be doing error or Mew, but it's in the slot where your melee weapons go, and can we talk about that? Why is the literal gun in the melee slot? It's a gun, you shoot someone and a bullet comes out. But Soul Sword has a projectile. You do so much more damage hitting an enemy with the melee. Getting off topic though. The best stereotypes I can imagine for people using it is that they either just bought it, or that they're trying to play it safe. The lesser of the noob population. Just like some of the other recent weapons, you won't see much of them. Some buy it for collection, some as a joke, and some because it reminds them of Team Fortress 2. Not much to say, as most of the early game weapons have similar stereotypes to each other. One of the first melees with a projectile shooting out of it. People either buy it before real knife, or don't to save for real knife. You'll either see them asking for help, interested about Underfell, or talking about how it's the first weapon with a projectile. These people are a couple of things. They are Underfell grinders, and they are confident that they can beat any boss. Even with that confidence, they still cannot beat Underfell as core and are stuck asking for help. There is one use, however, that I am not sure if it's still fixed. That's the bug where the projectile can fling users. Those people who use it like to do a little trolling. These people are either heavily skilled enough to do UF as gore, or got carried. These kinds of people aren't seen much in public, however you may be able to find some near the Tem Trials pad or the Tem shop. They want to finally do Tem Trials and get the Scythe, and they will ask for either assistance, or a carry. There is really no good stereotype or personality I was given or that I can think of. It's the first ranged weapon, sure, but the stereotypes are similar to past weapons. Error has no level requirement, so anyone can get it at any point if they have friends or if they're good at doing error. Most error blaster users had gotten carried, but is that even a surprise anymore? The only original stereotype I have seen is that they tend to ask a lot of questions since error blaster is a requirement to proceed in the game. Gaster Hand has similar stereotypes to Scythe due to it being the key needed to enter D7. Its only use is for D7 or anything before, as final Asriel drops the upgrade and you can't damage him by normal means. Just like Scythe users, those people are trying to beat D7, but there are two outcomes. They either suck it up and try it again, or complain in Discord like Minecraft YouTube stands. I kind of respect them. They beat Dust already, showing that they can stand on their 2 feet and beat a D7 boss. They sucked up the difficulty of D7 and are trying to fight. Even when they only get Flame Eye, it's probably a pretty cool moment for them. End game though, mostly everyone uses Flame Eye, so there is no good stereotype. The stereotype has two sides to it. If they got it pre-D7, those people are very skilled and I respect it. Trying to beat X-Chara with just Scythe, G-Hand, and Flame Eye takes a lot of time. Those who do deserve the weapon that helps speed up D7. However, most people get the weapon after D7. The stereotype for those users is that they are either collectors, or they got it just to flex and brag that they beat a hard boss. These guys are two things when they finally beat D7. They are bonkers that they have finally beaten D7, and they immediately rush to final Asriel to fight it. Just because they have Soul Sword doesn't mean they don't have Chaos Saber though. I still see people defending Soul Sword saying that oh, it's better than Chaos Saber, but Soul Sword has a projectile. Those people are dedicated to a blade. Some Soul Sword users choose it to play it safe, as Soul Sword shoots more stars than Chaos Saber does. For personality it's a split bag. They are either about to comfort their urges to random kill, or they're pretty chill and usually come to bosses where the person invites all. The stereotypes for this one are so confusing. From all of the stereotypes I have gotten, the main two are completely opposite towards each other. The chaos weapon users can be toxic. They love to purposefully randomly kill people at spawn or of king. They do it for no good reason but to be mean. Those people are very common to see in public. However, the helpful side is very commonly seen as well. These people love to help in public. Any person invites everyone to Undine. They join and shred them. It is truly uncanny how easy bosses are. It's up to you to decide your stance about carrying though, as carrying is a good thing to do but it has bad consequences. These people want an easy way to shred through early game up until Trident or Scythe. Devil's Knife is extremely good for an early game weapon. However, Devil's Knife fans want it to be even more strong. Some want it to be as good as Scythe because Jevil is hard. Those people probably can't even beat Jevil in actual Deltarune. On the rare occasion you'll see an alt with it, those people usually have high level accounts. This has a similar scenario to the X-Blade. They both give you a why did I do this fight vibe. They can use it to beat D7, but most importantly your stereotype is determined on how you beat it. If they beat it legit, they have my respect and they are skilled at the game. If they use the bug to win, however, they do not have my respect. You may be able to see occasionally people using it to RK others, as some consider it to be the best weapon for the job. I am putting both weapons in the same category due to their models looking similar. Tear shot has no good stereotype at all except for collector. I have never seen a single person actually use it in my life. Not only is it hidden in waterfall, but 8 minutes without a heavy item or morph requires some patience or another method of cheesing. This is the most disappointing out of the weapon stereotypes. Bubble shot actually has stereotypes, but they aren't good. These people are no-life collectors. No one gets bubble shot to use unless if they have no other choice and suck early game. Half an hour or more for a weapon where the only point of it is to flex that you got it. They are the type of people to spend hours blasting Green Man for a Discord role. I normally wouldn't have done this since its correlation is to the morph, something I might do later. A certain YouTuber however wants me to do it. If you have this, you are awesome and great, and I am totally not biased. I don't care, no one uses it, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. This is one of, if not the most hated weapon. The community shares a similar hatred for God stick users, almost unanimous. The people who don't share it are either God stick users themselves or people who got carried by them and don't want their precious stick to go. I have seen and have been told that they are egotistical, love to RK, they are tryhards, they have no life, and they are complainers. The only somewhat good quality I can see are they help people. It is truly something special, but I'd be lying if I said I don't see it or it isn't true. Oh, and whoever's name was Melon Lord that time in Discord, someone messaged me to tell you you suck. The people who beat it legit are skill. Whether or not the community will call you out is whether or not you use a morph that boosts your stats like Killer or Duck. If you beat it with the bug, then you don't have my respect and are that bad to cheese a boss. If you bug and die, then you should just uninstall. I can't really call them collectors, as the Blade of Curses is pretty good for an endgame weapon. While I would say that it is similar to the Blade of Curses, there is an overwhelming amount of people who got carried to get it, enough for the community to unanimously agree to it. They usually got it from a Chaos Saber or God Stick player, and they were planning to use it in D7. However, ever since the double hit removal and the 10 damage nerf, it isn't as good as it once was. Some people say that it's still better than Scythe according to the dummy, but there should be more testing on actual bosses. Those who have this are usually collectors or got carried to get it. Most people who do have it are post D7, so they have no reason to use it. Others that got carried use it to have a better time on D7, which use that stereotype for what you will. Some people hate the fact that people get carried for a better weapon than Scythe, while others don't care. However, from what I have seen, the few that do use it that aren't obsessed with D7 are pretty chill to hang around with. Those who use it because its damage can potentially be good, or they want to use the Halloween weapon that drops from the very spooky boss. They are a Gordon Ramsay fan and miss the Hell's Kitchen noise every time they bring out the knife. That's pretty much it, except for those monkeys over there who say nothing but buff 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 buff. These weapons include the admin weapons and the Halo Boomer launcher. There isn't really a good stereotype, as it's dependent on the staff who use them. Testers are totally the best, and I am not biased at all. Admin weapons are usually used to impress the community or to troll people in game. All I can say is that it is a real catfway moment. If you have this, then you have the awesome chance to win a reward. Just DM a moderator or admin that you have this with your username and proof, and you should get something happening to your 3DBB Boss Battles account. Well, that's most of the weapons on the stereotype list. Reminder that just because you are a certain weapon does not mean you are that stereotype. This is my first video on it, so it's bad. Before you comment about it. Before I get comments on it, no, I won't do unobtainable weapons or admin weapons. Unobtainable weapons there's no point, and admin weapons are mostly similar. Well, see ya.